So how do we avoid becoming a fashion victim? Let's talk about 3 tips of how old money women do it. Old money women will avoid being victimized because they understand their worth. They understand the potential opportunities that are before them. And they understand and avoid being a victim when they are considering their wardrobe and how they are presenting themselves to others. But what is a basic fashion victim? We've discussed this in a few videos now, but someone who is too trendy is going to fall victim to being a fashion victim because trends go off and go out of date so quickly and so easily. Others who choose to dress quite provocatively will also end up becoming a fashion victim because it just looks so distasteful and it will often rub people the wrong way. And last but not least, someone that chooses to dress a little bit too plainly will also become a fashion victim because it's just bland and tasteless. Faux pas like young girls who dress too matronly or older women who dress a little bit too trendy, like perhaps teenagers, they also become fashion victims, and often this happens because they don't really know themselves. And then often when we don't know ourselves, we can then become financial fashion victims on top of just being a basic fashion victim because we are spending too much money on clothing that is either going to go out of style quite quickly or a little bit of everything because we don't really know our style. You know, today we're dressing really preppy, tomorrow we're dressing really seductively, and then the next day we're dressing in sweatsuits. So let's dive a little bit deeper into the topic of being a financial fashion victim. The financial fashion victim, the woman who is victimized by excessive prices that she pays for clothing and cosmetics. Women pay eye-watering amounts for blouses, pants, skirts, and jackets that often have less fabric and require less work to create when compared to men's garments. While the quality varies from poor to artisan, the markup remains the same. Staggering. For clothing, this means many women are victimized economically when they need to make a purchase. The old money gal's solution is to selectively buy quality items made of natural fabrics, wool, cotton, linen, and silk, lean toward traditional classic styles so that your newer items can be easily mixed and matched with your older items. Shop less, take care of your garments. In this book, Old Money, New Woman, there is a quote on page 130. It says, "You can't address every problem in the world, just don't be a part of the problem. If it is at all possible, don't be complicit, don't be an enabler, don't be a co-conspirator. Research online and learn about the reputation a retailer has with regards to labor practices and community involvement before you buy. Be wise and shop informed." And if you've been following this channel for any period of time, you would have heard me say I completely deleted all of my Instagram followers, and during the time that we've spent at home over the last 2 years, I really reflected on how I showed up in my job as a content creator because it wasn't feeling ethical to me to continue pushing clothing and deals and poorly made clothes in the direction of my audience. And it was like, if I won't buy these things, how could I actually sit up here and ask you to? And so it really made me do some soul searching. And so that's probably a little bit more of why that quote really hit home with me. But I think a lot of us could reflect on that, regardless of what you do for a living. So here are 3 tips that can help you avoid being a fashion victim. Number 1, shop when necessary and not when you're emotional. Emotions are so easily conned. When you're happy, you might feel like you deserve that spending spree because you've just got a new job. Or when you're sad, you might think, hey, I need a pick-me-up. Let me go spend all my money on clothing. And I'm not saying that shopping is bad. We're not demonizing shopping. But really, a lot of us are shopping more than what is necessary. And I think sometimes if we don't have goals and something that we're working towards, we then can get mindless about our spending. Whereas when we have more substantial goals that are going to actually help us in our future, we think about the clothing and how that isn't really going to help further us in future. So one tip for you is to shop when necessary, not when emotional. Tip number 2, no Klarna, no buy now, pay later, no credit cards. I literally just saw an article, or was it the news? Pretty sure it was an article. Anyhow, it was either the news or an article, but it was yesterday. And it was saying how so many people are in serious debt because they are doing buy now, pay later. And I just think that if you can't afford it now, literally wait until you have the funds to do it. Now, I know a lot of people, they do all of their spending on their credit card and then they pay that off at the end of the month. Don't think that that's like lost on me. I know that there's tons of people, I have family members who do it, but they are responsible enough with their money and then they pay their credit card off at the end of the month and then they're able to gain points. But I think that's where you need to have a true and honest conversation with yourself if that's something that you are able to responsibly do. And I'll leave that there. But for the most part, when it comes to your fashion, your style, and your wardrobe, this isn't going to be a smart way of shopping. And the last tip, obviously, especially if you've seen the videos in this series, is to save and to budget. You can't save if you don't know what your budget is, and many of us do not know what our budget is because we don't know what is coming in each month as a part of our finances, and we're not being mindful of what is going out. Whereas when you have a strict or, a budget that you at least are following, you can understand and assess what is going in, what is going out, and that will allow you to allocate a specific amount of money to your savings each month, and then you can invest in higher quality clothing or invest in clothing at all, because I think we have to acknowledge that some people are coming in at different playing fields here. If you are literally just doing buy now, pay later, like Klarna or something like that, it's because you've put no money aside. So why not start off with a little bit? And then you can work your way up to putting maybe 5% aside and then buying higher quality items. Start where you're at, but just know that if you don't face the music of understanding what budget it is that you're dealing with on a month-to-month basis, you're never going to be able to get on top of this. Anyways, my friends, that is it for this video. I would love to know how you avoid being a fashion victim in the comment section down below. Hope to see you in the next video.